Hey guys, hope you're doing well. We're going to be talking about vibration. We're going to be talking about focus. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff related to vibrational work today. As you guys know, I always say that you do not need to book a coaching with me if you are following this channel on a regular basis because basically we are doing coaching here as well, and I'm fully aware that not everybody will watch all of these videos and will just like follow it, but for those of you that are, this is all you need basically. And this is why I post so much about vibrational work, because I really want to help you, since I'm aware that for the newer clients, it is something that they maybe haven't tried doing before, and also that usually when I take clients, those clients will be anxiously attached, which is why vibrational work is crucial, but also why it can be difficult. And obviously, the more anxiously attached you are, the more anxiety you're having, and the more of a victim mentality you have, the harder it's going to be to detach. So, how quickly you're going to be able to detach will depend not only on how much vibrational work you'll be doing and how seriously you'll be taking it, that's obviously so important, but it also will depend just on the level of your attachment and how long you have been attached. If it's something that has gone through your whole life, and if you have spent your whole life so far in victim mentality, it will clearly be harder, it will take longer. So please, everybody, take that into consideration. And if it doesn't happen soon, do not give up. Do not think there's something wrong with you or that you can't do it. It's simply because your brain is wired a certain way, it's programmed a certain way, and a brain doesn't like the change, and it just takes time to create a change, but also your brain will be resisting a change, just like with anything else. If you have noticed that when you try to change something, you will see that little resistance in a lot of things, because you're just used to something else, and that's why you're used to thinking about things a certain way, and it can be difficult to detach. And this is why I will make another audio about this, because I am fully aware how hard it can be, and the worst thing you can do is give up, because I know that a lot of people will give up if they're not going to have instant results. If they're not going to have instant detachment, they're just going to give up on it. They will stop doing the vibrational work, and that is absolutely not a good idea. Vibrational work is something that is obviously essential with magic, and obviously some clients will not be anxiously attached, or there will be some attachment that will not be severe, and it's going to be much easier for them. But majority of my clients will be very much attached, and then it's just going to take time and effort, and not everybody will be willing to go through the process, because the process, guys, as you've noticed, is not very comfortable. Any change is not a comfortable thing, which is another reason why your brain just wants to go to how things were, because it was comfortable. Even if it was anxiety, it's just something that the brain is used to and that is comfortable for the brain. So, having said all of this, what I want to do today is give you some pointers, I guess, and explain some things more than anything, because I think it is so important to do that. Detachment, let's start with attachment and how important attachment is. And focusing on things, when we overly focus on something that makes us obsessed and needy, we get attached, right? So for example, we are not getting a text message. That's like my favorite example, because texting is so overrated these days. Like, people are obsessed with texting, and we are not getting a text, and then we are focusing on it so much, and we are just looking at our phone all the time to see if this text has come, and we just can't focus on anything else, and we get obsessed with it, and we overly analyze the time, we overly analyze, like the time frame when the text comes, and overly analyze everything in the text. And what is important to understand here, guys, this is your anxiety doing the over analyzing, and there is no need for it in a lot of cases, because guess what, some people simply are bad texters, and some people are awkward, and some people are autistic, and some people don't know what to say, and some people don't like texting, and a lot of men actually don't like texting, and it's kind of annoying to them. So you will get those dry replies, and it's not necessarily because they're not interested or they don't care, it's just because they're not into texting. So, just some things to consider. Always consider all of these things, because if texting is important to you, it doesn't mean that it's important to the other person as well. And your worth, and also, the level of their interest in you, does not depend on this texting, and you give so much value to it, and you give so much importance to it. So that's just one little example. Now, I'm going to give you an example so you can see what detaching can do. And we're going to take an example that I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of sometime in their lives. And it's when a woman really wants a baby, and she's trying to get pregnant, right? But she's having some issues, and nothing is working. And years and years pass, and she's trying and trying and trying, and she really wants the baby. She's needy for the baby. She's obsessed with babies and with pregnancies and with getting pregnant, and nothing works. And then at one point she just gives up. Okay, it's not going to happen for me. The doctors say there's no way you're going to get pregnant. You're just not fertile, or you have this and this issue, or whatever it is. And she just decides, okay, I'm going to adopt a baby, so I'll be a mom. And she adopts a baby. And there are so many cases where this has happened. So a woman adopts a baby because she can't have her own baby, and she has been trying for years, and the doctor said, no, you'll never have a baby of your own. And after she adopts the baby, soon after, like months after, without any effort, without trying, she is pregnant. Interesting, right? And you know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because she detached. She stopped focusing on it. She stopped needing it. She stopped obsessing with it. I'm sure that she didn't lose the wish or the desire for it. And of course, she wasn't like, okay, now I've adopted, so obviously I don't want another baby. No, it wasn't like that. But she released all of that neediness. And what happened was that she got pregnant, because guess what? The energy has changed. There were no more blocks. And don't get me wrong, obviously she did have problem conceiving, right, in the first place, which got her to be obsessed. So the problem did exist in the first place. But it's the same, like, yeah, your ex really did break up with you, or really did pull away, and then you got obsessed, because a lot of people were not triggered before that certain event. Obviously there has to be a trigger for it. And if she just got pregnant really quickly, the whole obsessiveness would not even happen, obviously. So I'm not saying that the problem did not exist at all and she made it somehow. No. But I'm saying that she made it worse, and that she created a block. So yes, she had a problem, but maybe, if she would be patient, and obviously it wasn't a deal breaker problem, because she did manage to conceive, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Basically, when we detach, a lot of that needy, desperate energy falls off, and it's much easier for magic to work. It's much easier for other things to happen for you naturally without magic as well. Certain things like when there's no free will of another person, a lot of things can just be attracted. And Why is detachment so important, and why is vibrational work so important? So basically, you want to be in a state of inner peace. That's the state you want to have inside. And majority of the people are not in that state. And obviously, you will never be in that state all the time. You're a human being, and you will experience all the emotions every single day, probably like lots of emotions. And all emotions are needed. Even anxiety and fear are things that are important for us, because anxiety, fear, it does protect us from danger in certain situations. But obviously, anxious attachment and like severe anxiety for no reason, or for reasons that are not life threatening at that moment, are not healthy. And this is when we have a nervous system problem. But you will still, when you get to the state of inner peace, experience all the feelings. You will experience bad things happening, you will experience sad things. You will feel sad when sad things happen. You will feel anxious when you're scared of something, and all of that will still be happening, obviously. So it's not like you're gonna become a demigod or something like that, how people may think. You will still be obviously yourself, but you will be free of those unnecessary and unhealthy patterns, beliefs, and other things, emotions. So, what I'm trying to say is that, again, guys, do the mirror meditation. All of those fears, anxieties, and just that neediness and desperation, that victim mentality, seeing yourself as a victim, that is not who you truly are. So this is a product of trauma, of experiences, of expectations, of limiting beliefs, like beliefs that are not even your own, but just like things you have been programmed to think are truth. And Who you truly are is somebody else. So you identify as this vessel you're in at the moment. You identify with the name that your parents gave you. You identify with your title. A professor, a doctor, hairstylist, a florist, whatever. And we very much will identify like that. But that's not who we truly are. And the problem is that we forget to identify with, I am an endless soul having a human experience. And It's really difficult because obviously we are attached to this body, and we get overly attached because of the ego, and we live in our egos. And I'm not saying that it's bad, but obviously it's needed for survival and a bunch of things, and to have a lovely experience and all of that. But we need to remind ourselves that this is not who we truly are. So detachment kind of starts with detaching from the ego, and it has nothing to do with detaching from love or detaching from your person. It's detaching from the ego, because the ego is the part that brings all of those fears, those negative thoughts, and these negative beliefs with it, which is not who you truly are. So, vibrational work is also a journey of finding out who you are, finding yourself. And when you work on your vibration, on yourself, on your attachment style, on your essence, that is when you get more connected with your higher self, with who you truly are. And that is a beautiful process that brings a lot of magical moments. And magic is all around us. Magic is natural, it's a part of this human experience. And we kind of forget it. But think about how many incredible magical things are in life. Also, um, in coachings, people will often tell me that they feel, insecure, or they feel social anxiety because they had a lot of bad experiences with people, and like they have created this belief that they just don't get along with anybody, that people are bad. And remember, it's very important what you're going to be focusing on, because that is absolutely not true. Yes, some people are bad. It's a fact. Some people are bad. But there are so many beautiful, wonderful, good people in this world. And you're just not focusing on that because you're focusing on what your mindset is telling you, how you have been programmed. And you need to reprogram that by focusing on the other side, because we have both, right? We have both in this world. And it does really matter where you're going to focus and on what you're going to focus. It is crucial, trust me. And even with the news, if you look at the news, there are good news, there are bad news, there's all kinds of news, but we tend to click on the bad news. We tend to focus on the bad news, and we tend to like talk about the bad news, right? And I'm not saying that bad news is irrelevant or that we shouldn't talk about bad things that are happening in the world. That's not my point. But I'm just giving you an example that there is also a bunch of great news. So, for example, myself, when I see the news, there will always be some kind of animal abuser there or something like that, and it will make me really sad and really, just like emotional. And on the other hand, during the day, I will see so many articles about people saving animals, helping animals, and I will, like those articles and be happy about them, but it will not be something that will stay with me as long as the negative. And that's just a scientifically proven fact that your brain does, remember the negative things way longer than the positive ones. Like compliments, yeah, you will love them and you will, remember them, but you're gonna remember one insult way longer than like 10 compliments. And that's just a fact. So that is a problem. This is how we have been programmed. And this is something that we need to be actively working on to reprogram. Um, so, guys, I hope that this audio was helpful. I know that vibrational work can be challenging when you're deep into victim mentality, and I hope that these audios are helping you, and that soon enough you're going to discover that inner peace.